Okay. Okay. Hello. How's everybody? Hope everybody's doing okay. Um, I just wanted to go through and show again one more time the difference between what uh, what the evidence, the DNA evidence is, and what the charts that people make. So I'm going to prove that the charts that people make are deceptive and they do not convey the actual facts of the evidence of DNA. So on the one hand, you have charts that people make that try to make you believe that everyone came out of Africa when the actual DNA evidence proves to the contrary. It proves otherwise. So keep in mind, the charts people make are just lines that people draw, and the actual genetic distance of the actual DNA, both mitochondrial and Y chromosome. I'm going to show both lines of evidence proving that evolutionists lie. So remember what they said, that they said we all evolved or came from Africans. Just keep that in mind. So we should have DNA evidence going back to Africans, right? If we evolved from Africans, we should have evidence of DNA, our family tree going back to Africans. That would be the A100 whatever it is, or the A000 whatever they think it is. We should have lines going back there, that way, right? If that's where we started from, that's where our family trees should end up, right? It's not the case. The truth is that the Africans are our brothers. We didn't evolve from them. They are our brothers. And in some cases, even people that do have Hamite DNA also did not evolve from A000 or whatever it is supposed to be. What's up, Biker Television? How's things going? I'm not going to be responding too much, I guess. Hello, how are you? I don't plan to be responding too much. Well, whatever. But anyways, I just want to show what the evidence actually is. So I'll just go ahead and show my window here, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, this is one example. There's many examples of this, the charts that people draw. Now remember, I'm going to disprove this chart right here with actual DNA evidence. So here we go. This is supposed to be the mtDNA tree, phylogenetic tree. So what they want you to believe, you have the LO. This is the female mitochondrial line, produced the L1, which produced the L5, which produced the L2, which produced the L6, which produced the L4, which produced the L3, which they can't even get the numbers in order. But anyways, then from this L3, this is supposed to be the out of Africa migration. So this L3 supposedly produced this M, which is this M up here, and this N. Now it turns out that this M is the wife of Japheth, and this N is the wife of Shem. Okay, so if that's the case, see this, neither this nor this is going to come from this, because remember, these are individual women. These women are individuals. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, M and L are more closely related than the N. So, but you wouldn't know that looking at this tree, right? So, but these are the three families would be the L's, the L, M, and N. That they got in order anyways. I don't know how they figure out these letters or numbers, but anyway, that's one chart. Here's another chart. This is the Y chromosomal atom, as Ronan was trying to tell me. So this is the way, this is what he thinks. This is what Ronan thinks right here. This is what he was trying to say. You have the A00, produce the A0, and there's A1, A1A, A1B, B, B, C, T, D, C, F, D, E, C, F. Turns out the F belongs to this group down here and not this group up here, according to the actual DNA evidence, according to the result, the actual DNA results that I was looking at. So there's some corrections, you know, things are what they are, regardless of what we want to think, right? So the evidence is supposed to be what it is. So this F here is a small number of people, and it's supposed to belong to this next group here. But anyways, they think that it's a straight line. Everything developed from, you know, in a straight line like this, and ended up with R at the very last. But as we'll see, well, it's not the case. But that's what they want you to think. That's what you would think if you looked at this chart, right? So we have the HIJK, then you have the, and the K actually belongs to this next group, regardless of what anyone wants to think. So we have the K, according to the DNA evidence, so we have the K, element, O, P, Q, R. That's the, and the R, S, and there's a P. Yeah, so it's element, O, P, Q, R, S. Apparently. But anyways, that would be the next group. Okay, when we look at the actual evidence, see if we can find it. This is the actual DNA evidence for the Y chromosome. Remember the letters. We had the first group is the A, B, C, D, E, F, which the F belongs to this group. According to this right here. According to this DNA evidence, it belongs to this group. This F belongs right here. Does not belong to this group. Did not come from this group. So this is the actual DNA evidence. None of these people here in this group came from any one of these people here in this group. None of these people in this group came from any one of these people in this group. None of these people over here on this side came from anyone over here. See how that works? Because they have their own path. They have their own tree branches going in their own direction. So they did not come from over here as they wanted you to think. Remember, they wanted you to think that this was the original DNA ancestor, and everything else evolved from right here. But that's not what the evidence shows, is it? The evidence shows that this is all way out on a limb in its own branch on its own tree, way out on a limb by itself, and that nothing evolved from it. Nothing evolved from it. So this idea here, see this here? See this nonsense here? This is a lie. See this thing here? It's Y-DNA atom location root A00, which is now A000, that they want you to believe. This is nothing. Nothing evolved from his. This is way out on the limb on its own extremity tree branch. It's on its own limb out on the very extremities of this tree branch by itself, alone. Nothing evolves from it. But that's what they want you to believe, so it's a lie. It's a flat out lie. Nothing evolved from this. See that? Nothing. I mean nothing. Nothing evolves from this right here. It's out on its own extremity right here, this tree branch, all the way out here by itself. Nothing evolves from it. It's out all the way on the end. Nothing evolved from it. Neither here, nor here, nor here, nor here. Nothing, except for the B, comes from out here. According to the actual DNA evidence. This is genetic distance of each family tree. So all of this is all African trees, with the exception of of course, the C and the D, which didn't even go to Africa. Let me repeat that, in case you didn't catch it. The C and the D is not found in Africa. Never went to Africa. It went the opposite direction, ended up all the way in America. At least the C did. The D ended up in Tibet, in Japan. They went the other way. They're not even represented in Africa. Let that sink in. So this family tree is not even represented in Africa. It didn't go to Africa. It went the other way. But it is from the same family tree as this A1. From the same family tree, just it separated a long time ago. And didn't even go to Africa. The only people in Africa are the A's, the B's, and the E's. The other ones didn't even show up in Africa. They went the other way. Now you have to let that sink in and understand that simple little thing. But if you can't understand that, note that how all these other trees, these are genetic distances, genetic lines of genetic trees, go on their own way, and they don't end up here, they don't end up here, they don't end up here, and they don't end up here. This guy's all out by his little lonesome by himself. He's all by himself because there's nobody evolved from him. Nobody descended from him. He's all on the end of the tree. That's somebody living today out here. This is somebody living today out here and out here and out here. This is going back into time. When you go back into time, it doesn't connect up with any of the rest of the world here. It only connects up with the rest of this Hamitic tree right here, right here. And the E's and the C's and the D's are totally another tree. It's actually another tree, not even from A. They're not even from A. So there's something wrong here, because this D appears in Tibet and Japan. This C appears in Mongolia, Australia, and the Americas, and the Pacific Islands. And they don't even appear in Africa. So they didn't even go to Africa. The E's are in Africa. The E's are in Africa. The B's are in Africa. The A's are in Africa. This is the rest of the world. None of the rest of the world ever connects up to any of the Hamites, because of course the Hamite Y chromosome is a paternal line going all the way back to its origin, and its origin is over here, not connecting up to the Hamites. The Hamite connects to the same place as everyone else connects up to. So we didn't evolve from a Hamite. They have their own family tree coming from the same place as where we got our family trees. Same thing with the mitochondria. Remember the L152643? There it is right there. These are the Egyptus women, Egyptus descendants, or the African descendants that remained in Africa exclusively. Notice how no other person goes through. The M, which is the Japhethite wife, is closely related to this Egyptus. And the other ones here are more distantly related. Because the wife of Shem, apparently according to this evidence here, is more distantly related to both the wife of Japheth and the wife of Ham. But interestingly, it's not the wife of Ham that has the Neanderthal DNA. It's the wife of Japheth that has the Neanderthal DNA. Either that or it's the wife of Shem, but I'm pretty sure it's the wife of Japheth. Because the wife of Japheth is represented in southern Asia, not northern Asia. And I'll have to check again as to where the Neanderthal DNA appears. But you can see that these are three separate different trees. These are three different trees right here. We have the wife of Shem, the wife of Japheth, and the wife of Ham. They're three separate different trees. No one evolved from the other. They're contemporaries. So this here is a lie. I just proved that the evolutionists lie. So much so that we have everybody represented where the ark landed, right here, in this area of Turkey, and the migration of Turks over this way. So it's consistent with the biblical record, historical record, of people that we're all related to. We all know and we're related to. So this is the Y chromosome DNA, again showing the D Y chromosome in Japan and the DY chromosome in Tibet and Japan, and the C Y chromosome all through Mongolia, Australia, and the Pacific Islands, and all the way to the Americas. There's no C represented in Africa, even though they're descended from Ham, the progenitor of all Africans. There's no D represented in Africa, even though they're descended from the same progenitor of all Africans. DNA doesn't lie. So they never went to Africa, they never were in Africa, otherwise there would be their DNA left behind there. Because inevitably, when people move, there's going to be people that stay behind. So people moved out of this area here and went every different direction. Went this way, they went this way, this way, this way, this way, and this way, and they left behind their DNA, where they came from, where they originated from. And it's the same thing with even with the Africans. You have C represented here. You have D represented nearby and probably in here too, somewhere. But the point being, there is evidence of a Hamite in this area. The rest of them all went this way. The A, B, and the E's, not the C's and the D's. Same thing true with the mitochondrial DNA, highly represented in this Turkish region where the Turks migrated to Uzbekistan. Modern Turkey's over in this way somewhere, but it's highly represented in this area where the majority of the people were. So we have the same evidence in the mitochondrial, except that this chart here is confusing. You have the L1, 2, and 3 right here, which you can see right here, the L1, 2, and 3. So L1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 over here. Same thing over here. And they're only represented in Africa. Okay, so this is really very confusing because they don't even have it any in the right order, because it's supposed to be L, M, and N. You have M and N here, and there's no way to know what these belong to. I guess they don't want you to know where they belong, but the M and the N have their own things anyway. But again, the evidence disproves the out of Africa theory. We, according to the DNA evidence, no one evolved from here. Nobody evolved from Africans. They're a separate family tree from the rest of the world. And that's the end of the story. There's nothing else you can say, because that's the actual genetic distance and genetic family tree. There's nothing that anyone can say. Okay, so hey, I got a lot of people showed up. What time is it? 3 a.m.? Okay, well, I got lots of people. Why, what went wrong? Wild Heart. Hello, Wild Heart. I saw you the other day, yesterday. See, if God gave me my intelligence, I'm going to sue him. Got ripped off. It's not that bad, Wild Heart. There is no There's no D in Tibet, JJ. Yes, there is. D is in Tibet. And I think I showed that. I like Iron Maiden, Wild Heart. Sorry if I skip somebody and overlook somebody. I'm sorry about that because I'm just skimming through here. Okay, it can work. Okay, we're back live, says Matt Bond. Hey there. Sure are, hey. So the interesting thing is I think people make all these arguments and stuff after they come to belief. But the thing that actually convinced them, I think, that is actually the best thing for trying to convince other people. Okay, I'll give you the atheist banks links later. Let's see, unless Jesus helped me find my car keys. Unless he actually showed up. No, Wild Heart, if you do find your car keys, it's because God helped you find them, okay? That's the way it works. Even then, I think that's still the best shot. Is it trying to share? Awesome. I wouldn't go by that logic. Not on JJ's channel. The Earth is not 600 years old. Just throwing that out there. According to our known human history, it only goes back 5,000 years to the global flood and 6,000 years before the global flood. More than 6,000 years. But it looks like the chat is pretty calm tonight. Not too much here, I don't think. So, but anyways, I have to show this again because Wild Heart said that D is not in Japan. I mean Tibet. So I have to show this again. Okay. There's D in Japan, Japanese. Aniu Jomon. Jomon. Jomon or Japethite, Japanese. That's a DM55, D2M55, okay? In Tibet, here we have the DM15 and the D3P47. You also have the D2 up here in the Paleo-Siberian. That's D2. So we have D1, D2, D3. And Japanese is D2. Then you have the D2 over in Jomon. Jomon is China, apparently. Okay, what else we have here? So C, and then of course we have the C's all over the place. The C up here in Mongolia, Tungusic. You have the Yukagir, Kuchkokto, Kamkatkan. Of course, this is the C3 right here, right? But then you also have the N's and the Q's, which are both Japhethites. You have the Q thing here. And the Q's, of course, are very closely related to the R's. It's just basically in a different location. They went a different way. Okay, so the R's and the Q's are the same thing. The N's are also Japhethites. These N's, Finnic, the Finnish are Japhethite. Because according to the Bible, the Japheth went north. North is this way. Where is it? North is this way, right? And Japhethites are scattered all across this north region here and all the way east as well. Along with, of course, the C3, the D1, 2, and 3. and the Semitic Dravidians, the H and the I. Oh, one more thing I need to point out is that I am an I Y chromosome, and according to this chart, it's not. It branches off from here, so it could be just another Semitic population. So in other words, this would be Abraham right here where the J is. Of course, Abraham is the father of all of the Arabs and the Jews. The paternal father of the Arabs and the Jews. So that's why J shows up in the Arabic populations and the Jewish populations. And the I, not so sure. There seems to be some genetic distance here. I'm not sure, but it branches off from this basic line, the same line. So maybe it's just another branch of Semitic population. Of course, these are other Semites. They're the Gypsies and the Dravidians and the Gypsies, and the F2 is in here too. F, you have the F and the F2. So the F apparently the F belongs to the Semites, and the K belongs to the Japhethites. The K is a very large population too. The K is actually a larger population than the F apparently. But it seems to be belong to this tree here, the K, according to this DNA evidence chart. So the F belongs here, not to the Hamites. The F belongs to the Semites, and the K belongs to the Japhethites. Just want to point that out. And I'm an offshoot here from the Semitic line. The same Semitic line as Abraham, although I'm not sure if I want to believe this exactly. It could be what it is, but whatever. That would mean that the I is not the lost tribes of Israel. It could also be that the lost tribes of Israel are these up here, just the J1 up here and the J2 up here. That could be the extent of the lost tribes of Israel and wherever they happen to go beyond that. And of course you got the J2 over here. That could be just migration of Jews, but the lost tribes could be this J1 up here and J2 up here, and also this in Italy, because a lot of Italians are Jews basically, almost. Greeks too. Greeks and Italians, a lot of them are almost the same thing as genetically same as Jews. And the J2 could be this way as well. But apparently the I's separated long before that, and the I's, let me see, it would be right here, I2A. Somehow they got this backwards. The I2A says Slavic and Germanic and Viking and Anglo-Saxon. So, but it's the I2A2, which then migrated up here this way and turned into the I1 M253 or something. Anyway, that's that. And of course the Japhethites went north, with the exception of this Japhethite right here, went into Africa. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I didn't even show. I'm not even showing. I went through all that and I didn't even show it. Okay. Anyway, I'll show Wild Heart again. Moon produces its own light. Okay, let me try again. This is the D1, D2, D3 in Tibet. This is the D2 in Japan and Joman. Gotta go through this all again. This is the C3 that went all the way to the Americas. C3, C. The N and the R and the Q are all the same thing. These Q and R, see, notice how they don't even know the difference between, they're trying to figure out whether it's an R1B or a Q, or trying to figure out how the R got over here, when R and Q is basically the same thing anyway. But anyway, and the H Dravidians and the G, no, the H Gypsies, the G whatever this is, S and W Caucasian, I don't know. Anyway, something like that. Of course, the G is Semitic too. The F, G, H, and I are Semitic, and the J. And the K belongs to the Japhethites, apparently. That's about it. Somehow I didn't share that. Anyway, sorry about that. My granddaddy wasn't no turkey. That looks like the board game Risk with all the colors. Jungle, I got you. We don't come from Africa. We come from Turkey. Yeah. I hope I hope that people, atheists, unbelievers, get the message. Turkeys produce turkeys. Stop with your we came from turkeys. Fake news. No, we are turkeys. We came from Turkey. Yeah. According to this evidence here, according to this evidence right here, we have our own family tree. And the point being, we did not evolve from this guy out all the way over here on the extremity over here. So I just disproved this Y-DNA atom 000. We did not evolve from this guy here. He's out on the end of the family tree, all the way out on the end, and nobody evolved from him. Nobody even descended from him, because he's out on the end of the tree. So evolutionists lie. Atheists who promote this lie, Ronan, who says this is the beginning, lies, as well as Johnny, who I was talking with, the ape guy. He lies. He's probably deceived, but I mean, there's no reason to keep on lying, you know. This guy's out in the end of the tree limb. Nobody evolved from him. Okay, so you can't be spreading that lie no more. It's very, very important. You have to tell the truth. These are known people that we are all related to. We are all descended from all these three people and their wives. Okay. So let's see. The Bible says moon produces its own light. Yeah, okay. That's a good thing. What am I doing way up here? Obviously nerds. That includes all of us. Nerds and candles. Well, my name is Bond. Sorry, not control the opposition. Obvious agents. Nice pictures again. So yeah, they're nice pictures, but I just want to make sure you see that the D and the C went the other way. The D went to Japan and Tibet. I don't know what you were saying, if you were what you were talking about, but I just wanted to make sure people can see that they didn't even go to Africa. They went the other way, and they're not represented in Africa. And nobody descended from A0000 because he's out in a tree limb. He's out on the end of the tree limb. How can anybody descend from somebody out in the very tip of the tree limb? The family tree. He's out on the end of the family tree. So nobody descended from him. How can people be promoting such nonsense like that? It's so obviously wrong. It just doesn't make any sense. Can't wait for Islam to come in, Wild Heart. Yeah, I think that's my idea of heaven. Don't worry, Iger. Television, he's not more atheist. Anyway, I don't suppose anybody wants to have a chat. I mean, a discussion. It doesn't look like anybody here would do that. So which pictures are the nice pictures? The pictures that of my fossils, or the pictures of the? I was thinking it was the colored pictures here. I was thinking it was these pictures here. Anyway, it's interesting to me, I think. Probably because I'm a missionary kid, and my father worked with indigenous people, so there's a special place in my heart for peoples of the world, different peoples of the world. So the DNA evidence is very, very interesting to me. You know, regardless of what it is, it's all very interesting. And of course, we're all brothers and sisters. We did not evolve from A00000 or anybody out on the limb. Make sure make sure every evolutionist understands that, you know. It's a lie. It's a lie right here in print. See this? It's right in print. Y-DNA atom location of root A00. It's a lie. Coastal migration. It's a lie. Of course, some of this is true, but I mean, that we came from A00 is not true. But the truth is we came from Turkey. That's the truth. That's the, that's the only thing I want to get across is we all came from Turkey. See here? Modern day Turkey's over here, but then over here you got the Turkmen. Over here you got the Turkic Sea Asia. So it's like somehow, for some reason, everybody's represented in this area here. According to these charts, like Uzbekistan, seems like Uzbekistan has the highest representation of everyone on the planet. There's even E over here. See this E? This darker blue E is represented all up in here. So not only is C represented, E is represented here in Uzbekistan. And they try to say that Somebody was trying to say that everybody evolved from E. This EX3B. I heard somebody, or I saw somebody saying that everybody evolved from this E3 here. Well, not according to the Y chromosome evidence. Not according to this. Okay, jungle jargon. We came from the mountains of Ararat. Sounds cooler. Stupid name. Stupid name for a country, you ask me. Was it always called that? I don't. I don't know. I think it was always called Turkey. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, we came from the mountains of Ararat. Okay. Eileen. Oh, I learned young Earth, but like I said, it's dirt. Who cares? Dirt. Okay. God breathed dirt. Be grateful, Daniel. Dirt is your good. 50 times grandpa. Okay, supposed to be me. Actually, it's not. It's not just dirt. It's directed dirt. Because there's a big difference between dirt and directed dirt. Turkey, no, it was not always called that. Probably had a different language. There was a time that region was called Rome. Oh, yeah, we know. Yeah, that's when Rome took over. Rome, yeah, but that's, yeah, I don't know. What we need is a name before Rome. That's what we need. Is your whole family Christians? Do you have any non-believers in your family? Just curious. Basically, basically yes. My whole family is Christian. Now, I have a lot of nephews and stuff. They might be a little wandering, but you never know. They might return. You know. Good question, Matt. Rome, Ottoman Empire. There we go. The Ottoman Empire. That sounds right. Yeah. But we came from before the Ottoman Empire. Maybe we came from Göbekli Tepe. That's where the Ark landed, right? Göbekli Tepe was probably one of the first civilizations after we landed in before the Ottoman Empire. They're still fighting over it now. That was after Rome. Oh. Well, was it? It wasn't Sumerian, I don't think, was it? Sumerian is just one family. Sumerian is the Semites. The empire of Alexander the Great was before Rome. Yeah, we're gonna find out what's the best word other than Turkey. That included Turkey region. Yeah, apparently Turkey is more than the modern day Turkey. I think Turkey was like bigger than that. I don't know. Or the people migrated or something. Tell us about Göbekli Tepe next time. That sounds interesting. Maybe it was where Abraham lived. I don't know. Cappadocia. There we go. That sounds good. Maybe we came from Cappadocia. See, was the bird named after the country or the other way around? Do you feel the Bible supports a flat earth, or is it not clear on that topic? I don't think they really thought too much about it because it seems kind of flat, you know. So maybe they did kind of think or wonder if it was flat or wonder didn't know. I mean, it's so big. It's like it's kind of hard to determine or know if it's flat, except with the exception of the shadow of the sun. And they weren't dumb people, so they knew that you put up a pole at noon, and the shadow is different in different places, even in Egypt, different places in Egypt. And depending on where you are, determines what the shadow looks like at noon when you put a pole on the ground straight up and down. So just from that, if you think about it, you can know that the earth is not flat. So it's really not complicated. Let's see. Achaemenid Empire? Achaemenid? Achaemenid Empire. First Persian Empire. There, that sounds pretty good. Persian. Yeah, that sounds right. Persian. Which is Iraqis. I mean, Iranians. Iranians are Persians. I guess Iraqis too. I don't know. Anatolia, Lydia. I tried sleeping to your broadcast last night, but the opponents you had on last night were something special, like the special needs at school. Oh yeah, Remy. they were, they are kind of special, yeah. But that's I guess another story. It's amazing how many names I can find for the same rough region. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to pin down where the main population was. I mean, I can see from the DNA chart is that the Uzbekistan seems to be the most widely represented of all everybody, you know, being represented there. So maybe they migrated a little east. But even so, that general area is still highly represented of all the different people. Still today. I mean, well, at the time they did the DNA test or whatever, or the people that they did the DNA tests on. How old was I when I became a Christian? I was always a believer. I I had Bible. What do you call it? Devotions. We call them devotions. We had devotions when I was a kid, like growing up. So I was like 3, 4, and 5 years old, and I was always a believer, as far as I can remember. And then I went to school when I was 6, and I was still a believer. I went. They put us up in the front row, and that's for little kids to pay attention to what the preacher's saying. And I paid attention. I listened to what the preacher was saying. From that time on, even today, I listen to what the preacher says. And I'm really glad because it's helped me through my hard times throughout my life. And I'm about 60 something now, and hopefully I'm looking to retire in a few years. And but I've been through a lot of different things. But I have always been a believer, and I believe God spoke to me when I was 5 while I was playing with some plastic figurines, kind of like army figurines, except that they were light green figurines and they were different people doing certain tasks, or individual, each person was doing different things at a particular kind of a location. I don't want to say what it is because I work there today, and and I was looking at all the different figurines. One had like a wrench in his hand, one had was pumping gas, and the other one was like sweeping a broom, or sweeping a broom, was sweeping the ground with a broom, a very specific kind of broom, the kind of broom that you sweep the ground with. It's kind of like a brush broom, but it's a big brush broom. And of course, as a kid, I never saw a broom like that in the Amazon. And God said, "That's you." And it turned out to be. But then He went on to say that it's not going to be a menial job. I understood at 5 years old it wouldn't be a menial job; that it would be a technical job. But it just happened to be that I was using that broom, and you know, so I went to school, went to Bible school, went to the army, got out of the army, worked at a gas station, worked at this, worked at that, and then I one day I was pushing a broom, and it was just like the broom that I was looking at, the little figurine, and it was the job that He said I would have when I was 5 years old, and that's the job that I still have too. But anyway, have you ever considered doing street preaching? I like the idea. I haven't done a lot of it, but I have done it. I'm not really the kind of charismatic person for doing street preaching, but I do. I have talked to black Israelites before, a long time ago or a while ago, and it's something I would consider doing. Yeah, because it's very it's very beneficial to the person. Not so much maybe to the person listening to you, but it's good. It's good for you to learn how to, you know, talk to people that way in a sort of half-heated situation. Like G-Man talking to the BHIs, the Black Israelites. I've done it before, and I didn't even know what they were. I just saw them on the street talking about God, and I walked up to them and said, I figure I'll talk to them about God. They're talking about God. Let's talk about God. I didn't even know who they were, but it was a long time ago. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay, I've only been a YEC 2 years, and this man is speaking truth. God bless y'all. Can you put a cartoon of the evolution tree in the background, Kent Hovind style. The cartoon, the cartoon with the lines drawn in between, with all the missing links missing, all the common ancestors missing. Yeah, it's a lot of missing information, a lot of jumps and leaps in faith. That's for sure. You have to jump from one thing to another thing to another thing. Then you come to realize that they're all buried by the same global flood, and you think they all evolved from each other. so, so it's just kind of really bad idea all the way around. Do you guys think that an amoeba fish is really your great 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 granddaddy? Yep. There's too many leaps of faith without any evidence, that's for sure. No evidence. And sometimes I get irritated when people believe it. People like Wildheart still believe it. Stuff like that. Does Kent Hovind style mean behind bars with a forged tax return? Wildheart, he wasn't put into prison for tax evasion. He was put in prison for taking money out of his own account, his own bank, his own account, by an obscure law meant for drug dealers that had nothing to do with tax evasion, as far as I can tell. Jungle Jargon, we keep seeing the amoeba fish. The amoeba fish. Oh, this one here is a belemnite. It's like a fossil squid. It's a soft-bodied animal, and it's in hard marble. This here is like the remains of an ammonite, looks like. There's a lot of ammonites and such, but I have a lot more. This is an ammonite. Yes, you're right, JJ. So he was put in prison for speaking out about the New World Order and corrupt government. That might be more the motivation for putting him behind bars, is that he was a little bit talking about government and stuff, but, you know. But that could have been more the motivation than anything. And but he suffered a lot. I mean, I don't think the punishment was deserved. His whole family turned against him and everything, so he suffered quite a bit because of that. So, oh, not that New World Order. I'm pretty sure it was for tax avoidance, evasion. No, I don't think so. It was because he took money out of his bank one week, and then he took money out of his bank, I think within a couple of days or within the same week or in the consecutive weeks or something. And there was an obscure law meant for drug dealers for money laundering, and they accused him of doing what the money launderers do or something, I don't know. And he didn't even meet the qualifications for it being a violation of that law. He didn't even, in other words, he didn't even violate the law, because you're supposed to be the same day or something. I don't know. It's really kind of confusing, but they were motivated to get him on something, and there's nothing you can do. If they want to come after you, they'll come after you. If you take somebody off and they want to come after you, they're going to come after you. So Iger, what is the video number 5 about? Georgia Guidestones is like their 10 Commandments. He took out too much cash cash per withdrawal each time, tripping their system. Yeah, I think it was more they checked his records, but I'm not too sure. But I don't think he actually violated the law or violated the rule, but they charged him with it anyways, from what I understand. But anyway, but like I said, if they want to come after you, they'll come after you. Yeah, I believe they call it structuring. Yeah, structuring. Yeah, but apparently he didn't meet those criteria for structuring. I don't know. But anyways, he's working on overturning it. But I guess I don't know how much help he's getting on that. But apparently not too much. But anyway, Kent Hovind Creation Seminar 5 is about Illuminati's New World Order. There's a guidestone. Jesus calls them the synagogue of Satan, so they sent the Fizz. Jesus calls them synagogue. Okay, yeah. Something, yeah. Structuring. But yeah, my pictures are pictures of the marble tiles on the floors and on the walls at the Orlando MCO airport. And you can see them for yourself if you want. You can take your own pictures if you want. But you have to find the fossils. But they're all over the place. Everybody's walking all over them. They don't even know what they're walking on. They're walking on the proof of the global flood. So here we have a belemnite and an ammonite together. Some some of the pictures actually have a seashell. I have some of them you can actually make out a seashell. Kent is glib and superficially charming, fairly certain he may possess clinically significant levels of traits related to psychopathy. Um, I think he just wants to save people from, you know, get people saved. I think that's his motivation, as far as I can tell. Kent was accused of structuring small regular payments to avoid paperwork, but in small businesses, deposits can be genuinely small. Okay, he had a bank account and assets worth over 2 million. He was paying his employees in large cash sums. Bank treats that as sort of cash as theirs. The banks are pretty strange because they think your money is their money. I don't know why that is, but they seem to think somehow they think that your money is their money. And I had an account at a particular bank, at a bank it was when we had passbooks, passbooks. So I went and said I want to withdraw everything, and they said you can't withdraw it. I said it's my money. I wanted to withdraw it. They gave me a big problem. And I had to like wait till like the next day or something. I don't know what it was. But I closed down the account. If they're going to give me that trouble, I closed it down. Said, nah. Kent Hovind is a living legend. He'd tell you the truth. Kent wants to get people saved and have them build his theme park along the way. Well, it's a thing called a ministry, Matt Bond. There are things called ministries where people serve the Lord and live from generous contributions of people that believe in the same vision and have the same vision to save people. And so you have this retreat or whatever it is you want to have, and it's supported by donations, and you have meetings or whatever. You have bring preachers, or other people bring preachers and teachers, and it's called a ministry, and it's where people learn about God and are benefited for the rest of their life. That's the whole idea, the whole purpose. I'm a missionary kid, so I've lived with this kind of thing my entire life. Myself personally, I know what it is to live off of donations from other people, and I did not want ever to live off of anybody's donations ever. So that's just me. It's not wrong. It's just that I know what it's like to live that way off of other people's donations, and I never want to live off of other people's donations ever again. So that's me personally. And Paul was kind of the same way too. He worked for his own way. He paid his own way. So you know it's not wrong. It's just people have a. It's called living by faith. You live by faith. You live by whatever funds that God sends your way. So there's nothing diabolical or evil about it, unless you, you become like Eji Macedo. Macedo, he's a Brazilian evangelist, and he's like a billionaire or something, and he has churches all over the world, including the United States and Brazil and everywhere, and who knows everywhere, and everybody gives like everything that they have. They say, oh, you want to make money, you want to be wealthy, give everything you have. So everybody gives everything they have, and then they're blessed, and he says, well, give everything you have again. So anyway, that's another story though. That's the universal, what they call a universal church. You know, it is what it is, and he thinks he's doing a good thing too, for that matter. He thinks he's saving people, and me personally, I like to see lives changed, and I don't really see lives being changed from that kind of ministry. But you know, I'm not really involved in that kind of thing, so I really can't say. But I'm skeptical. Okay, Caravan. Don't ask how much his PhD cost. Well, who determines what who deserves a PhD anyway? Can a caravan park get credited, by the way? Caravan parks. I want to visit his dinosaur adventureland one of these days. Yeah, but it's in the middle of nowhere. Atheists need to find their God-given intelligence, aka common sense. If you lost it, you need to read your Bible. Try reading one book. Lent's son Eric is a real piece of work. Kent was essentially, or Kent's son Eric, ruined by his wife and youngest son. Iger, what book would we read? Any suggestions? Try reading other books. Uh, can we watch something else, like the cartoon of the evolution tree? I don't know if I have a cartoon of the evolution tree, but I do have other things to watch. Maybe I could just go ahead and put them on. I mean, it is a change of scenery anyway, right? Um, the Bible is a collection of books. Even Genesis is a collection of books, for that matter. Kent said he didn't know he had to write a dissertation for his PhD until it was time to graduate. um, yeah, you can't expect the requirements to be the same everywhere throughout all time. Obviously, obviously, in the past, it was easier maybe to get different qualifications or whatever, or may have been, maybe have been harder. I don't know, but the point is that whether or not you're right or not, and if you're not right, your PhD is worthless. So you love Wild Hunt most. Later, take care, JJ. Community Hub. Ivan Van Veen. Yeah, it's my animals. My aminals. That's right. Oh, this is not a bobcat. There's a bobcat. Speaking of turkeys, yeah, I love it. But anyways, I hope that the evolutionists, the skeptics or whatever, understand that the Y chromosome disproves the out of Africa belief, and the A triple O is at the extremity and didn't produce anybody, and much less the rest of us. So it's just it's really comical how they would believe something like that, and they actually have charts. I actually had charts showing the what they believe that one thing produced the other thing, produced the other thing, produced the other thing when we all came from the same source. The DNA evidence is that we all came from the same source, and they're showing that the Africans produced the first. Oh, that's another thing. In the mitochondrial line, they're saying that the Africans produced the Japhethites, and the Japhethites produced the Semites in the mitochondrial line. And in the Y chromosome line, they're saying the Africans produced the Semites first, and then the Japhethites. It's total nonsense. Total nonsense. And if you're an intelligent atheist, you have some serious thinking to do about that, because it's total nonsense. It's absolute rubbish. Okay. I think you mean your animals. My animals. Matt Bond, you can put your YouTube book of Mark KJV, Action Packed Gospel. MKST, Action Packed Gospel. I love evolution, says Matt Bone. Well, I love SpongeBob imagination. Weird, Matt Bone. Let's see. I've read them many times, many years ago. LOL. I might read them again though. Okay. Now that you know evolution is an impossibility, since you know Earth is only 6,000 years old, try reading it again. So, yeah, you learn all the time, so maybe it'll make more sense the next time you read it. It's funny the things you didn't know you knew. Yeah, but our hope is that you learn something. At what age did you first encounter evolution? Probably like grade school or something. Probably, it's they uh, they do teach what what Darwin taught, what Darwin believed, in Christian schools. You know, not real deeply, but they do tell you about it. And that's probably when I started to think about it, as a matter of fact. So I was trying to think, well, how can this be? How can one thing morph into another thing? But I really started thinking about it probably is like maybe 10 or 20 years ago. Started thinking more seriously about it. And then, because in thinking about it more seriously, then I became more irritated with it because it's total nonsense when people think it's true. See, at what point evolution is law, bang, bang. Yeah, the Big Bang, a whole bunch of things. We can go through the whole thing. Where did energy come from? Where do objects come from? Where does time and space come from? Does it come from nowhere, or does it come from everywhere? A Christian school tried to hire my wife to teach biology while she was still in college. I listened to undramatized Scurvy audio on play speed. Would be optimal at .777. Yeah, it's good when you watch videos. Sometimes I watch videos at a higher rate of speed. Makes sense. But but yeah, I just thought about that just now, and I'm thinking, it's in an inverse order. The mitochondrial DNA goes from the hamites to the japhethites, then the shemites, and the Y chromosome goes from the hamites to the shemites and then to the japhethites. Makes absolutely no sense at all. Let's see. Do you ever visit the chiropractor? Random question. No, I don't believe in chiropractors. I'm a little bit suspicious of them, and I never needed to go to any chiropractors. And for some reason, I have never had back problems, and most of my other problems I've been able to fix with supplements. Knee problems, whatever. I got everything working good, so where I can run 20 minutes straight without any issues. See, I went to one. It was all right. Yeah, I've always been a little bit leery of chiropractors. I know some people say they're good. Some people say they're neither here nor there. Some people say they're bad, you know. But it's a good thing I never needed one. But it's good. Exercise is essential when you get older, though. Maybe not so much when you're younger, but when you start getting older, you pretty much have to exercise. Okay. If y'all haven't heard about Noah's flood happened about 4,400 years ago, he had a granddad named Enoch. His book is cool. I have an animated version. It's awesome. Um, that would be interesting, but my only problem with the Book of Enoch would be where it starts to get the later chapters kind of like go off keel. They go off kilter a little bit. I mean, it talks about the sheep and the goat and the antelope and the deer and the whatever, you know. It's way better than Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead. Yeah, that'd be interesting. The Book of Enoch, the the first parts of it are very interesting. As a matter of fact, in fact, I believe it was not included in the canon, the Jewish canon, because of how much it talks about the Son of Man, and because it's almost echoing word for word what it says in the book of Daniel about the Son of Man. The only difference, I mean, one of the differences is that the book of Enoch says that all nations will serve the Son of Man. No, the book of Daniel says all nations will serve the Son of Man, and the book of Enoch says that all nations will worship the Son of Man. So that that little difference there of all nations worshiping the Son of Man might be the reason why it never entered into the canon of Scripture, in the Jewish canon of Scripture. And then Jesus came along and said he is the Son of Man. They said, "Oh, all right." He said he's the Son of Man. And then, of course, if you knew the writings of Enoch and the writings of Daniel, you'll fall backwards. What? Enoch was very prophetic. Yeah. You don't like football? See, I don't like football too much. Or you need the History Channel. They don't show you anything there. Are you ready? Okay, or BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, not Big Black. Yeah, some of the I like the Discovery channels and the History channels and stuff, but they just have way too many commercials. I mean, it's commercial after commercial. It's like you watch 5 minutes of programming in a half an hour of watching. You know, so it's crazy. Don't watch football, but I watched the Super Bowl. It was a good game. It was a good game, and I didn't watch the whole thing all the way through, but I did watch when the Chiefs won, which is all right, you know, I guess. See, I guess not everybody expected that or wanted that to happen. Science Channel, people don't know how to collect their own water. Yeah, there's a lot of different things on the. I mean, there's prepper stuff and there's survival stuff and a whole bunch of stuff. Naked and dumb stuff, you know. People, I don't know. I think people could survive a lot better sometimes than they try to do. I watched a guy on YouTube teach us how to clean a squirrel, then cook it and eat squirrel gravy biscuits. Yeah, I think even the swamp people. There was a couple guys on the swamp people that cooked up some squirrel. They shot a squirrel and said, "Let's. I feel like eating some squirrel." I try to leave my animals alone. Oh, speaking of which, maybe I should change the scene. Oh, this one is probably too boring. I've seen it before. How to distill their own water. Yeah, distilling is good for Californians. We learn nothing but garbage nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, distilling water is really pretty good idea to have something like that if you need it, of course. And Californians might need it. And if you're in an arid place, you might need it. If there is water, you can find water. Desalinization. The thing is that there's a lot of deforested areas in the world, and some areas we might not know whether or not they're deforested or not, but they're arid. But if we would try to reclaim the deforested areas and plant trees, the result would be that the water table would rise, and which provides drinking water that people need, and the sea level would lower. So it's really would be a really beneficial thing to reclaim all the deforested areas and see if we can reclaim some of these deserts that we have too, for that matter. Because with you know, all the crying going on about the destruction of the air we breathe or whatever, the global warming, whatever they're complaining about, that would be resolved by planting trees. Sea level rise, all that stuff. Just plant trees, and that would control the temperature. It wouldn't be extreme heat, and it would raise the water table and lower the sea level. So makes sense all the way around. It's not complicated. See how to distill their own water. We learned nothing more. God, okay. Yeah. Fortunately, here I got water here going through here most of the year. Let's see. I hope it's not making noise here. Okay, but anyway. This is my favorite animal right here. It's my newest favorite animal. It's called the gray fox. They climb trees. See, you can turn air into water. Nowadays it's called dehumidifier. All of the wrong people are in control. Crazy world. Yeah, I try not to complain too much about the people who are in control of the world, because the Bible says that God raises people up. You know, He picks them up, puts them down. You know, and they're probably a little bit stronger than me, and it wouldn't do me any good to fight them. I probably wouldn't win if I did try to oppose them or fight them or whatever. Um, and our business is to just tell the truth, like preach the gospel, and that's annoying to them enough, I think. Anyway, they don't like people telling, teaching the truth. So you can turn air into water. They sell them on eBay. They look like water fountains, like $1,000 on eBay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I'm trying not to buy too much right now because I'm trying to sell trying to sell stuff on eBay, but I'm not getting too many not too many fish are biting though. Wait, didn't God pull all the leaders of the world in place? Put all the leaders in the world to place? Yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying. That God picks them up and puts them down. So it's not for me to worry about too much. And of course, our job is to preach the gospel, which is really the only way that we should be annoying them, because we're minding our own business, doing what we're supposed to be doing, and if it bothers them, then we're just still doing what we're supposed to do, minding our own business. So, and of course, my big complaint about what is being taught is evolutionism. You have to wonder what he was thinking with Trump. Well, we've been waiting for a president like Trump, like our whole lives, whole entire lives. We've been waiting for a president like that. I have been waiting for a president like that my entire life, and I didn't know if I would ever see one. And every time I see Trump, I just laugh, because that's exactly what the kind of president I've been waiting for my entire life, and finally got one. And I don't know if we'll ever see another one like him. Oh. So that's one good thing on out of all the bad things in the world, I guess, that are in the world and of the world. Hillary and Trump are cousins. Sorry, wake up, Santa Claus is fake. So why did God create Lucifer, then allow him to become prince of the world? Seems a little careless. So is the tooth fairy. Okay. Yeah, Hillary. I mean, yeah, that's one thing. With I don't think Trump is wants to put Hillary in prison. I mean, but and we all know she probably deserves to be there, but along with other people, a whole bunch of other people do. Probably majority of the former administration needs to be in prison, but probably won't ever see anything like that. Yes, from my end in the UK, I find Trump so much fun. Unicorns are real in the Bible, yeah. They used to fight battles with unicorns. Yeah, there's not too much we can do about the political scene. I mean, we can yell and scream and make our vote, voice our opinion. That's about it. And it is what it is. We got to be happy with that. I mean, we tolerated 8 years of Harry Hussein, and now comes our turn, and we get our person as president, and there's a big uproar. Nobody can handle it. Nobody can accept it. They try to impeach him from day one. They try to kick him out any which way they can from day one. It's just crazy. Can't accept it. They say, well, if Hillary's elected president, are you going to accept it? Yeah, well, if Trump's elected president, are you going to accept it? That's the question. Well, look, all presidents are related. A 12-year-old girl figured it out like a decade ago. Yeah, that is true. I mean, for the most part, because I was related to all the presidents. Only I can't find a relationship to President Trump. I don't think. I mean, I thought I did one time, but I can't seem to find it right now. I mean, I'll have to look again, but maybe I have other genealogies in place where it'll connect to Trump, but I haven't been able to connect my genealogy with Trump. But Reagan is very close in my genealogy, and President Bush is very close in my genealogy. And Bush Sr. even it looks like my dad. But anyways, that's another thing. But anyway, so yeah, all the presidents, they're all related, except I'm not sure if Trump falls into that category. I mean, he probably does. I have to check to see how he's related to Hillary, if he's related to Hillary. But I know I'm related to Hillary. I'm related to Harry Hussein, if that's his mother. I'm related to him. But see, I know one horn. I was just trying to be funny. I should learn my lesson. Okay. And apparently there's different kinds of unicorns. Um, some of them have two horns, some of them have one horn, and who knows what kind of unicorns they had in history, in ancient history. But apparently they were used in battle. You know, that's what they were used for. See, unicorns will be willing to serve thee. I never could. Canst thou bind a unicorn with his, or will he harrow the valleys after thee? Yeah, that's the only problem, is that unicorns are not very cooperative. I mean, rhinoceros. But what I'm saying is that maybe there was another kind of unicorn that was a little bit more cooperative, a little more willing to, or maybe they just, I don't know, maybe they just sent a herd of rhinoceroses out in front of them. I don't know. but I know they used them in battle. That would be interesting. Okay. I have a nighttime feathered friend. It's pretty neat. Oh, anyway, I guess that's about it. Have to keep in mind that actually I learned quite a bit about DNA tonight, today, yesterday, today. The funniest thing I think is that they think that the Hamite woman produced let me see, the Japhethite woman, which produced the Shemite woman, and in the in the Y chromosome DNA, they think the Hamite male produced the Shemite male first, and then the Japhethite male. So it's mixed up, to say the least. Doesn't even make sense. Does they got it mixed up. They got it totally mixed up. Of course, we could have told them. I mean, a little bit of common sense goes a long ways in dealing with evolutionists and atheists and any other sort of idolater, naturalist, object credit giver, whatever you want to call them. Oh, Wild Heart's leaving? Oh, okay. Take it easy, Wild Heart. Yeah, I think maybe I'll go too. Maybe I'll just go through a couple more animals here. I have a nighttime bobcat. Oh, he went the other way. I have a possible bear. A jumping bobcat. Rascally raccoons. You even have armadillos. Owl. Coyotes. Flying deer. I have a crow. neighbor's pets. And such. Anyway, it's been real. And may everyone come to know the truth of God's Word. And may everyone not reject the Holy Spirit that's sent to them.